YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. There it is. All right. And there it is. I'm live. Woo! Welcome to Randsanity, episode 2, 3, 4. Not 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be a lot. That would be way too many. So episode 234, January 21st, 2026. Oh, man. I was just talking, just yapping a little bit about we're supposed to have a snowpocalypse this weekend. You know, I keep getting texts from people. It's supposed to snow on Sunday. I'm like, so? You know, we're going to have snow on Sunday. I'm like, okay. We have to change our plans. I'm like, we're going to talk on the phone. Like, what exactly plans do I have to change? Is the snow going to, like, affect the, you know, my cell phone service? I'm confused. How does that work? It's just snow anyway. I don't know. That's what happens in Columbus, Ohio. I mean, if you live somewhere else, maybe you understand that the snow thing is, you know, the snow is real. The struggle is real when it comes to snow because there's way too many idiots that just don't understand how that works. You know, their idea of snow is like, hey, let's drive 90 miles an hour, just like it's not snowing out. And then, of course, you know, we deal with the consequences. There'll be cars on the side of the road, left and right. I had a guy last time it was really crazy snowy. I had some idiot who went zooming past me. He's like, zoop. I'm like, okay, it's snowing really heavily and there's like 2 inches on the ground. I'm just driving along. I'm, you know, doing my center lane. I'm doing like 50 miles an hour. This guy was like zoomed past me and then like went to cut over the lane really fast and just was like, shwirr, and just kept on sliding. I just like slowed down and kind of looked at him. We caught gazes as his car was sideways going in front of me, headed toward the ditch. And I just kind of looked at him like, jackass. And it just into the ditch. I did not stop. I was like, yeah, you brought that on yourself, bro. That's completely on you. You know, if you were looking less likely that you did that without like, oh, I'm just gonna, no, I probably would have stopped, but no, you completely did that. So that's what I have to look forward to. We've got snowpocalypse here in the next couple of days. So, you know, we're going to go ahead and talk about the stuff that I always talk about. Talk about some music news and history. A show announcement that I'm a little bit surprised about, but that's all right. And then I've got some songs from the 90s that you would think that could have been written today because they kind of sound that way. So let's start with a tour announcement. Just announced today, Los Angeles-based American indie band Lord Huron hitting the road. They released their debut album, Lonesome Dreams, in 2012, their second album, Strange Tales, in 2015, their third album, Vida Noir, in 2018, their fourth album, Long Lost, in 21, and their fifth album, The Cosmic Selector, Volume 1, in 2025. Now, this is why I'm so kind of interested, because Lord Huron combines country, western, folk rock, rock and roll, pop, and surf rock with a soundtrack and new age influences to produce a sound the Wall Street Journal described as having a decidedly cinematic flair. Heavy on mood and evocative imagery, Lord Huron brings to high mind lonesome sound of antecedents like The Band, Neil Young, My Morning Jacket, and Fleet Foxes, which I agree with all of that. I totally agree with that. Now, the thing is that, so they're going to hit the road on a tour. Now, what I was really surprised about, because I've seen Lord Huron a couple times, okay? I was like, wait, what? So they continue their steady stream of touring with the new U.S. dates announced for the summer, supporting the Ben Schneider-led music project's latest album, The Cosmic Selector, Volume 1 from 2025. Dates kick off at the Santa Barbara Bowl in Southern California on June 2nd and continue to July 21st at the Momentary in Bentonville, Arkansas. The artist pre-sale signups are already happening, so if you aren't that, you can just get regular tickets. General tickets go on sale Friday, the 23rd at 10 a.m. local time. So if you want to get Lord Huron tickets, they go on sale this Friday. Last spring, the band played sold-out tour in celebration of the 10th anniversary of its album Strange Trails, with features The Night We Met, which has continued to grow as one of the most streamed songs on Spotify, with more than 3 billion streams, with a B, billion. Lord Huron followed that run in the fall with the biggest headlining tour, including stops at Madison Square Garden in New York City, Berkeley's Greek Theater, Austin's Moody Center, and Los Angeles' Kia Forum, as well as some others. Recently, Lord Huron returned to Jimmy Kimmel Live to perform Bag of Bones from the new album. And they're out on tour. Now, this is what is going to get interesting and why I'm really? So they start February 21st in Tempe, Arizona at the Innings Festival. Okay? But then they don't start again until 6/2 in Santa Barbara. So they basically are taking a break from February pretty much till June. I was like, all right. Now, they're playing Santa Barbara, Oregon, Montana, Cheyenne, Colorado. Red Rocks sold out already. They've got Denver, Columbus, Ohio. Okay, so I was like, sweet, I can't wait. I'll go see them. But they're playing at the Buckeye Country Superfest. And I'm like, wait, what? The Buckeye Country Superfest is like at the Ohio Stadium, and it's a bunch of country artists. And I'm kind of like, what? Really? Country? They're kind of indie pop, though. So I don't know. I'm really confused. I mean, they have some country, western, folk, but really? Lord Huron playing at the Buckeye Country Superfest. I should have a bunch of emojis off my head with this confusion look like, the fuck? All right. I don't know. We'll see. I may or may not. Maybe I'll stand outside just to catch this set, but yeah, that's just kind of weird to me, I guess. I just, okay, I guess. That's that. Lord Huron. So whatever, man. I just, there's no accounting for everything. So I guess that's how that works sometimes. It's just a little bit weird. So, all right. Well, let's do some history. Let's talk about the history that happened today, okay? Go back to 1963, and of course, the Beatles. They made their third appearance on Radio Luxembourg program, The Friday Spectacular. The Beatles were interviewed by the host and played 2 tracks, Please Please Me and Ask Me Why. 1963, the Beatles. In 1965, over 3,000 screaming fans met the Rolling Stones and Roy Orbison at Sydney Airport when they arrived for a 16-date tour of Australia and New Zealand. Rolling Stones and Roy Orbison. What an interesting combo. That's just wild if you think about that. I love some of the old, doing the band lineups and they played together. Roy Orbison and the Rolling Stones. All right. That's one of those wild ones, In 1966, George Harrison married Pattie Boyd at Leatherhead Registry Office in Surrey with Paul McCartney as the best man. George had first met Pattie on the set of the Beatles movie A Hard Day's Night. She left Harrison in the mid-70s and started an affair with Harrison's best friend, Eric Clapton, who wrote the song Layla about her. Interesting. The two married in May of 1979, but split in 1988. Harrison and Clapton remain close friends, with Harrison taking to calling Clapton his husband-in-law. And probably would say, hey, Eric, how's my dick taste? Yeah, I went there. Sorry. I totally did. I did. I went there. In 1968, Jimi Hendrix recorded the version of Bob Dylan's song All Along the Watchtower at the Olympic Stadium in London. Rolling Stone Brian Jones was on percussion. Dave Mason from Traffic was on 12-string guitar. Both played on the session. The track was released in the U.S. as a single in 1968, peaking at only number 20. People didn't have good taste for Jimi Hendrix back then, apparently. I think he would do better now. In 1972, Pink Floyd appeared at the Guildhall, Portsmouth, England. This was the first time that they were able to perform the whole of what became the Dark Side of the Moon album in its entirety. The previous night's performance in Brighton having been halted for technical reasons. I talked about that last night, that they stopped for technical reasons. They couldn't get the show on the road. Makes sense to me. In 1978, the soundtrack album for Saturday Night Fever started a 24-week run at #1 on the U.S. album charts and stayed on the chart for 120 weeks until March of 1980. It went on to sell over 40 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling soundtrack albums of all time. 3 singles from the album contributed by the Bee Gees, How Deep Is Your Love, Staying Alive, and Night Fever. The Bee Gees' involvement in the film does not begin until post-production. John Travolta stated, "The Bee Gees weren't even involved in the movie in the beginning. I was dancing to Stevie Wonder and Boz Scaggs." What? All right. I mean, it's Saturday Night Fever, and they didn't have a disco band ready to go. Far out. Far out, man. In 1982, American blues guitarist B.B. King donated his entire record collection of over 20,000 discs to Mississippi University for the study of Southern culture. 20,000 albums donated. That's outstanding. You know, that's the kind of thing that we need more people to do. I love that. That's a beautiful thing, B.B. King. In 1983, British synth pop duo The Eurythmics released Sweet Dreams Are Made of These. I listened to that tonight. The singles peaked at #2 on the UK chart and #1 on the US Billboard Hot 100 6 months later. In 2025, Billboard reported that the music video for Sweet Dreams had joined YouTube Billion View Club since it had been featured on the soundtrack to multiple films, including House on Haunted Hill and Gamer, as well as an episode on TV shows such as The Following and Luther. Sweet dreams are made of these. I do like that song. The Eurythmics are definitely a good band. But yeah, I listened to that tonight because I was like, oh yeah, you gotta love that one. 1983, the Allman Brothers Band bassist Lamar Williams died of cancer at the age of 34. He joined the band in 1972 after the death of the original bassist, Berry Oakley. Not Barry, berry, like, you know, a fruit, berry. His doctors believed that the disease was derived from exposure to Agent Orange during his Vietnam service. Opposed to the war and to killing in general, Williams went AWOL frequently and wandered around the jungle of South Vietnam, occasionally returning to various units. He was given an honorable discharge in 1970. Okay. Interesting. So he just would wander. Oh, I'm just going to wander out in the jungle somewhere. Far out, man. Far out. Jackie Wilson, soul singer, died at the age of 49. Wilson suffered a massive heart attack while playing a Dick Clark show at the Latin Casino in New Jersey on September 29th, 1975, falling headfirst to the stage while singing Lonely Teardrops. Oh, man, the irony is so thick. I just remained in a coma until his death 8 years later. His 1957 single, Reet Petite, became a posthumous #1 when reissued in 1987, due in part to new animated video made for the song, featuring a clay model of Wilson. Van Morrison wrote, Jackie Wilson said, which was covered by Dexy's Midnight Runner. Never was a fan of Dexy's Midnight Runners. That song, Come On Eileen, just, I don't know. That one never worked for me. I was just like, nah. Some bands just, I don't get it. Billy Idol. Come on, Billy. Get the hell up going. Billy Idol pleaded guilty to assault and battery charges after an incident outside a West Hollywood restaurant. He was fined $2,700 and ordered to appear in a series of anti-drug commercials. Okay, so if you have to appear in a bunch of anti-drug commercials, let me guess, you were hammered when you got arrested. Just ask Kiefer Sutherland. Let's see what happens with Kiefer Sutherland. And they did say that the Uber driver did have a recording. If you haven't been paying attention, I've been obsessed with Kiefer Sutherland's arrest the other day for supposedly assaulting an Uber driver. He repeatedly told the driver he wanted to get out. And at some point he said, I'm going to fucking kill you if you don't let me out right now. He then struck the Uber driver, supposedly choked the Uber driver, and then chased the Uber driver while the Uber driver was calling 911 saying a crazy man was chasing him. When the cops arrived on the scene, they said that he was clearly under the influence. They didn't say of what, but he was clearly under influence. He was arrested, $50,000 bail, and will appear in court in February. Charges haven't exactly been filed yet, but they'll get there when they get closer. And yes, this Uber driver said he did have a camera. So we'll see. This one I want to say. I want to see the video of him like losing his shit. Oh, man. In 1997, Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis Presley's manager and agent, died of a stroke in Las Vegas, Nevada at the age of 87. Born Andres van Kuchik, a Dutch immigrant who changed his name as soon as he arrived in the U.S., Parker never applied for a green card and feared deportation his entire life. He briefly managed country singers Eddie Arnold and Hank Snow as well. If you watch the Elvis movie where they show Colonel Tom Hanks as Tom Parker, it does not portray him in a very good light. Guy seemed like he was quite the sleazy character from start to finish, all the way to the bitter end. So, yeah, it's Colonel Tom. I don't know, man. What are you going to do? 2002, American singer and actress Peggy Lee died of complications from diabetes and a heart attack at the age of 81. 1958 U.S. number 8 and UK number 5 single Fever. You give me fever, fever when you hold me tight. Fever. Listen to that. I'm like, yes. Oh, my God, that's such a good song. Lee worked with Benny Goodman, Randy Newman, Quincy Jones, and was nominated for 12 Grammy Awards, winning Best Contemporary Vocal Performance for her 1969 hit, Is That All There Is? That's what I wonder every day. Is that all there is? Really? Snoop Dogg, you're in the house. Good to see you, Snoop Dogg. Gotta appreciate that right there. David, I'm just going to totally skip this one. Wow. Okay. No, I'm not doing this one. No. Nope. Not falling down that rabbit hole. Absolutely not. 2004, as the third season of American Idol was aired on the U.S. TV, a memo was leaked showing a list of songs banned from being performed at this year's auditions that included Elton John's Candle in the Wind, Fallen by Alicia Keys, also all songs by Bruce Springsteen, Mariah Carey, No Doubt, R. Kelly, Tom Petty, Korn, and Linkin Park were not allowed after concerns over the cost of securing rights for the song's use or the composers not wanting their songs to be performed on the show. Well, that's like WKRP in Cincinnati. The original WKRP in Cincinnati, the songs all were released for the show. If you buy the DVD box set, it does not have the original songs because they could not afford the rights for the original songs in the actual TV series. So if you ever watch it, it doesn't match sometimes the songs because of the fact that they couldn't get the rights or they were too expensive. That's how that works. So, kind of crazy if you think about that. In 2007, Mika scored his debut #1 hit single with Grace Kelly, which went on to become the third biggest selling single in the UK in 2007 and spent 5 weeks at the top of the chart. The song is titled after Academy Award-winning American film actress and Princess of Monaco, Grace Kelly. The bit of dialogue used in the song is from the film The Country Girl, which stars Grace Kelly. Duh. I mean, wouldn't that make sense? In 2012, Adele was at #1 on the U.S. Billboard album chart with her second album, 21. The album, which yielded 5 hit singles, included the lead single, Rolling in the Deep, has now 31 million copies sold worldwide. That was awkward. Has now 31. Yeah, that's what I get for just reading it. 2015, an Israeli man was arrested on suspicion of hacking into computers of pop stars, including Madonna, and then selling unreleased songs online. During the investigation into what appeared to be an attack on computers for a number of international artists, the suspect broke into the computers, stole unreleased demos and final tracks, and then sold them over the internet. I mean, wouldn't that be easy to figure out where they came from? 2018, Dolores O'Riordan from the Cranberries' funeral opened 3 days of mourning in Ireland, with O'Riordan lying in repose at St. Joseph's Church. In a tribute normally reserved for heads of state, thousands streamed past her open coffin in a 4-hour public reposing inside St. Joseph's Church in the city. O'Riordan, wearing black eyeshadow with raven hair, was laid out in an open coffin wearing black and holding a set of pearl rosary beads. O'Riordan's songs were played while photographs of the singer performing and one of her with Pope John Paul II were placed along the walls. I did not realize she was so papal. I guess that's interesting. Sinead O'Connor, let's see. Did you get that same kind of reference? No, I don't think so. Adele back in the news. In 2022, she postponed her entire Las Vegas residency just 24 hours before the opening night due to half of her team having COVID. The show would have been her first live concert in 5 years, and Adele was forced to make more than... Wow. She was forecast to make more than $800,000 per performance. Holy crap. That's a lot of cash to have to get up that quickly. Whew. Well, you know, what are you going to do? In 2025, just last year on this day, Canadian multi-instrumentalist and master of the Lowry organ, Garth Hudson, died in his sleep in a nursing home in Woodstock, New York at the age of 87. He was a member of the Hawks, Ronnie Hawking's backup group, who then became The Band and also backed Bob Dylan on his U.S. tour in 1965 and world tour in 1966. The Band had the 1969 US 25 single Up on Cripple Creek and the 1970 UK number 16 single Rag Mama Rag. Up on Cripple Creek, you send me if I spring a leak, you mend me. Oh yeah, it's a good song. Garth Hudson. All right, well, you know, that's the news, man. Again, it's a little bit slow still. We're still in January, so not a ton. The music news is still, you know, kind of churning out there. Just not as exciting as it will be because it just gets a little bit slow this time of year. You know, we get that slow period. That's what happens. Just slow, man. Slow. Let's see. Focus period. What? Shut up. Get out of here. Stop. What this thing is just doing here. My computer's telling me a focus period. What the hell's a focus period? I have no idea, people. Ridiculous. Stop it. Stop doing that, whatever you're doing over there, my computer. All right, there we go. All right. Now, so this one's interesting. So this is 4 songs that... Oh, excuse me. I need my pen for my notes. So this is 4 songs that were written in the 90s, but you could actually convince yourself that they were written within the last 5 years or so. They gave birth to a lot of great songs, but this one feels like it's kind of new. So Here's 5 of them, or 4 of them, okay? So most of the songs from the 90s sound like they were made in the 90s. From grunge and hip-hop and beyond, there's this distinct sound that sort of characterized the era. Just like the 70s and the 60s, you can kind of hear that sometimes if you listen to a 70s song and be like, yeah, it's made for the 70s. There's guitar tones, there's backing tracks, there's rap cadence, there's production techniques. And the 90s were uniquely kind of wild in that respect. You got to sometimes come across a tune that transcends that, though, and it feels like it could be brand new. So here's 4 tracks that are exactly that. The first one is Pure Morning by Placebo. What's sort of fascinating about this Placebo song, the crafting of Pure Morning, this is a 1998 track, and it's from the band's second album, Without You I'm Nothing, and it really put them on the international map in the late 90s. The song begins with a repetitive guitar riff and this rhythmic drum beat, with electronic elements eventually kicking in. Brian Molko, the frontman, delivered this unique vocal performance, sort of perfectly matching, his Friend in Need song. Chants in this instrumentals, across the 4+ minutes, the track builds to a crescendo of sounds that make you feel like you're in a warehouse rave. If I heard this song for the first time today, you could easily convince yourself that maybe it was written and recorded after 2020. Just so you know, one of those things. Next one, this one, I listened to this tonight because I was like, one, I love the band. I'm a huge fan of Shirley Manson, so I love the band Garbage. So anytime anything by Garbage is up, I can do it. But Garbage kind of circumvented the grunge stranglehold of the early 90s by incorporating a lot of electronic elements into their sound. The front person, Shirley Manson, came crashing through the gate with her 1995 self-titled debut album. The album featured Only Happy When It Rains as the band's second single, or the third, depending on who you ask. The driving guitar riff in industrial-esque rhythms, in conjunction with Mason's commanding voice, make this track way ahead of its time. I mean, there's so many songs on that album that are so good, but Only Happy When It Rains definitely sounds like it could be, out today. Now this one, again, this is an interesting one. Rap is a tough one. It's such this sort of a moment-focused, almost emotional genre. Hip-hop song feeling like it existed early is rare. There's also a high level of nostalgia as rap hip-hop creates feelings of both joy and urgency that can make sort of this your brain very specific era of life kind of, emotion. This one would be a wild choice, but think about Jay-Z and UKG's Big Pimpin'. It's a track that feels like it could be new to the radio even today, even though it technically was first released on December 28th, 1999, with Jay-Z's fourth studio album, Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter. It's important to note that Timbaland was a main producer on this song. When paired with Jay's lyrical talents, Tim's acumen for music production elevated his track well beyond the late 90s. Lastly, now this one again, to think that it's this old, I was a little bit surprised, to be honest, okay? It dropped in 1997, but this timeless nature of Radiohead, it's almost like they cheated on this one. I mean, the song sounds like it could have come out of in the past 5 years. All of their songs sound like they could have come out, and existed outside of any human comprehension of time. But for whatever reason, the haunting nature of Karma Police just stands out. It's dark and bright at the same time. It teases you with this folkiness that kind of mutates into this shoegazy assault at the end. Tom York and Company didn't make the song after 2020. They hop onto their time machine, yes. I think Radiohead has a time machine. And they dropped it off back in 1997. So Radiohead definitely is one of those things, like the entire album, again, they simply don't have the ability to sound like they're from the 90s. So I can get this fixed here. I don't know what I'm doing tonight. Just screwing up left and right. There we go. All right. So there you go. There's your 4 songs that were written in the 90s, released in the 90s that could be pretty much today, though. All right. So you got Karma Police by Radiohead. You got Big Pimpin' by Jay-Z. You got Shirley Manson, Only Happy When It Rains, Garbage. And, of course, you've got Pure Morning by Placebo. Again, if you've never listened to Garbage by Shirley Manson, just go to Google or whatever your streaming service is. You know, what it makes? Yeah, go to Google's and go hit Garbage Best Of and just listen. Because, I mean, she's got such a great voice. You know, I saw her a couple times. Well, I mean, I've seen her a bunch of times. But recently saw her just a few years ago. And again, she just was great. She actually played with, I think it was Noel Gallagher. It was Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, and Garbage opened for them, which was amazing. It was such a good show now that I think about that. That's right. I had really good seats, too. We were down front for that one, so that was an amazing concert. All right. Well, that's it on that kind of stuff. But yeah, those are 4 songs that definitely transcend a little bit. All right, let's get to some births and deaths tonight. We talked about a lot of deaths already, so let's do some births. Now, this one, Aristotelis Savalas, Telly Savalas, Kojak, the man who was the cop with the bald head and the lollipop always in his mouth. He died in 94, but he would have been 104 years old today. So happy birthday to Telly Savalas. Chris Burton of the Trogs, Wild Thing. You make my heart sing. 81 years old. Jimmy Ibbotson, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, 79 years old. Billy Ocean, Caribbean Queen, 79 years old. No, 76 years old. Sorry. There's a bunch of 77-year-olds, like 3 of them, like, what, 77 is it today? Marty Walsh of Supertramp, 74. Bob Brill of Berlin. Oh, man. Take my breath away. 70 years old today. Jam Master Jay, Run DMC, would be 61 today. Died in 02. Jam Master Jay, Run DMC. Robert Dinaja of Massive Attack, 61 years old. Benny Hill of the Benny Hill Show. He was also in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. He was the toy maker. We always talk Chitty Chitty Bang Bang because of the child catcher. Fucking creepy. If you've never seen it, go watch just the child catcher on YouTube. It's scary as shit. Fucking nightmare fuel. Anyway, Benny Hill would be 104 years old today. He died all the way back in 1992. Gina Davis from Beetlejuice, she's 70 years old today. All right, so who did we lose today? We lost Jackie Wilson, soul singer Jackie Wilson, died at the age of 49 in 1984. Peggy Lee, you give me fever. She died in 02 at the age of 81. We talked about Garth Hudson. He died just last year at the age of 87. Cecil B. DeMille. I'm ready for my close-up. The Ten Commandments. He died at the age of 77 back in 1959. It's like, holy shit, really? Is that Ten Commandments that old? I remember I saw Charlton Heston. I went to Saturday Night Live and Charlton Heston was the guest. It was very interesting. Very interesting Saturday Night Live experience that time. Jack Lord from Hawaii Five-0. Book him, Dano. He died at the age of 77 in 98. Connie Sawyer. I was like, wait, why do I know that name? Connie Sawyer, she was in Pineapple Express and Dumb and Dumber. She was that old lady. She lived to be 105 years old, for God's sakes. She was still acting in those movies when she was in her 90s. She was like I think the oldest living actress like Betty White was 100 when she died. But this lady lived to be 105 years old. She died in 18. Terry Jones of Monty Python, Monty Python's Flying Circus, died in this day. Died in 20 at the age of 77, another 77. And Louis Anderson, comedian Louis Anderson, died in this day. He died in 22. I recently caught the show Baskets, and I was like, oh man, I'm bummed that he died. It was such a strange show. What? Why do you know I went to a Saturday Night Live taping? I went to a couple Saturday Night Live tapings because I would get to go with bands. That was the whole thing, you know. I would ask to be on the band's guest list, so I got to go to Saturday Night Live a couple times because of that. That's how it works. You get to know people. That's how I got to go to Jimmy Kimmel. You know, you just got to know the band, and they get the band tickets, so that's how that works. Yes, yes, yes. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. I know. It's the way that works. So the Lord Huron concert is what I'm kind of like excited about Lord Huron, but again, at Country Superfest, I'm like, what? Buckeyes Country Superfest? No, I don't know about that one. I like the song Mine Forever, and I don't think that's country. I don't know if they'll play that, but we'll see. Wait, who? Lord Huron. I talked about Lord Huron here. I'll go back and I'll talk about Lord Huron again. Lord Huron, you know, Los Angeles-based indie rock band. Okay, they combine country, western, folk, rock and roll, and pop with surf rock. Guess what? They're playing at Buckeye Country Superfest, June 13th. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, that's gonna be. So. If you want to sit outside with me, I'm happy to go sit outside and listen to Lord Huron in the parking lot for Buckeye Country Superfest, because I'm definitely not buying a ticket for that. But, you know, feel free to join me outside, or you won't be here. Oh. But let me see. They're playing New York City. They're playing Atlantic City, Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino on 6/26, so you can catch them at Atlantic City. That works for you. I would suggest that. That's as close as they're getting to you. Lord Huron. So there. That's them. That's what's happening. Yes, and I was talking about the snow. It's going to be a snowpocalypse. I keep seeing, like, you know, they're showing, like, the European model. This model, we're going to get 2 inches, 10 inches, 40 inches. I'm like, whatever, man. We'll get some snow. It'll be snowy. That's awesome. I hope we get lots of snow. I want feet of snow. I'll do some shopping. I'll have Instacart bring me food. I'll be waiting. I'll put a stack of firewood ready to go and burn shit because the house will be freezing cold. So I'll be all excited for that. And then, yeah, I mean, whatever. It's just snow. So it can't be that bad, right? 5th grade sunshine. Well, hopefully it's sunshiny at 5th grade. I don't know. So, yes, we're going to have snow. Snow. So hopefully wherever you are, if you see this, you'll not have snow. Right, SJ? Not have snow? Because, yes, we're going to get lots of snow here in Columbus, Ohio. So that's, we will see. We will see what? We will see about Lord Huron, or we will see about snow. Because I think we're going to get snow. We're going to get something. All right? They're predicting way too much snow not to get any. I don't know if we're going to get the 10 inches or whatever the hell they're talking about. But I have a feeling we're going to get some snow, at least some sort of snow. But I'll be sure to, maybe I'll do a time lapse of the snow. Who knows? All right. Snow! They're saying a lot of snow. Yes, I know. A lot of snow. That's what we're supposed to see. I don't know if I believe it either. I don't know if I believe it. We'll see. I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? All right. Excellent. All right. On that note, I'm going to depart because it's not snowing yet and I don't have to deal with it. So I'm not going to. Wednesday night, I can't believe it's Wednesday already. See, the whole like holiday or day off thing Monday threw me for a loop. So it's not supposed to be Thursday already. But today's Wednesday and tomorrow's Thursday, which is crazy to me. But, you know, that's such as life. So we'll get through it and we'll deal with it. Well, thanks for being here. I appreciate you coming in and saying, hey, stopping by, spending some time with me, listening to my stories. Makita makes a snow thrower. Want one? Battery. Well, do you have a brand new one? You're dropping off or something? If you have a free brand new one, sure. I don't need one that's not new. Not that I don't love you and all, but you know. And how well does a battery snow thrower work? That's what I want to know. It's cold and batteries don't like the cold in the first place. So would that be something that's like workable? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, it's been lovely spending time with you once again. I truly appreciate it. So thank you for being here. I feel blessed and grateful that I get to do this and have fun and you guys get to spend time with me. Look it up. All right, I will look it up. Makita snow thrower. I will look it up immediately. All right. Well, take care, be well, and have a fantastic Thursday. And we'll do this again tomorrow. So come back. 11 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll do this all again, but completely different because it'll be different news. Until then, I will say goodbye and we will fade to black. Amazing. Amazing. Amazing.